Okay, so some extra thoughts on facial modeling, and what I have so far is I've gone in and I've got sort of the base horns from the last part three. I mean, I still have some things to work on, obviously, in the facial structure that'll require smoothing out because there's some weird aspects that need to be addressed. In the face, just sort of this is just the straight up sculpting aspect of the face. But I still want to prep some areas, and I want to talk about how you could go about getting some hair. But something to keep in mind is when modeling facial structures, this is for a little more realistic, not necessarily for the fun anime kind of style. Let's see here. Oops. This stuff over here. But when modeling, I will screen share this. Alright, so when modeling a little more realistically, you have a lot more things to kind of contend with, and you can see, like, here's just some pictures I brought up. There's a lot that goes into sort of the lips, the edges of the nose, and sort of the eyes, and how the eyes shape. And that's because there's a lot of little fat deposits in our face that make our features. The cheeks, the lip itself has a lot of little pieces. Like, you almost see this curl from the inside that turns out on the edge of the lip, but pushes back in and under. And then there's a little bit of fat here. And you'll find that there's some of these pictures, they do a good job of kind of showing that little bit there. If we use characters that are a little more defined, you get a lot of these same little features in there. Some of these aren't so great for it. That first one's a really nice example. This one is really gritty. You can see there's a lot of extra features added in here with all these like jaw pieces and muscle structures and ripples on the chin. And again, even here though, with this gaunt sort of strong facial structure, you get these little bits of fat deposited underneath the lips. It's just the skin that's there. It is just what it is. You have a lot of little fatty deposits that help show the movement of your lips and face. That's why I like this one up here, just because it's so close up. You got these little pieces, and if you can capture that in your 3D modeling process, then you're kind of nailing things nicely and really helping to show a sort of sense of realism in your modeling. Now, I know there's a number of people that probably won't be going with that approach necessarily. If you're doing an anime character, that's a different thing. It's kind of a little more streamlined and simplified. But I do want you to be aware, most of these you'll notice don't have hair, because that's, again, sort of a separate piece that they'll attach on. And you can really see that if you want to get into like serious realistic modeling, you'll want to catch all these little divots and curves. And I'm kind of walking a line with my model here. I'm trying to get some of that. I haven't hit the level of detail I need to get it yet. I'm still sort of on this general stage, and there's a lot I need to do with the eyes. But you can see I've started from session 3. I've started adding more edge loops into the eye, so I can start really forming sort of the curvature. And you can even see in this little sketch, Troy, there is that like eye fat above here, and they are attempting to show these little bits in the lips and such, which I still need to kind of get in there and sort of achieve. So maybe I need to actually delete maybe these little pieces here out, and then what I'd want to do is I'd want to take this edge right here, and I'd want that edge to kind of flow inwards. So we might want to take, say, this piece here, kind of curl it. I'll take this piece here and kind of pushing it, and then I have to start kind of folding little bits of geometry more so through here and paying attention to how that kind of flows. And it's actually a lot of subtle little work to get it to work just right. And I'd probably want to readjust the geometry. So if I go back to... That's why I haven't taken on the mouth in a video yet, because there's a lot. See, look at these little pieces kind of push up and in and over, and they almost disappear in themselves as they kind of settle into sort of the mouth. And it's actually a lot of little pinching to get those to really properly flow. And I might even redirect the edge flow, but I'll do another little video probably on the lips, even though I know no one's probably gonna hammer the lips quite as hard if you're doing an anime, but maybe you will. I'm gonna get it in there. I'll get it in there so you can see this process a little more. And I probably almost need another edge loop in there going through here. Right down here that I can work with. So this one could take it and kind of push it up. It just gives a little more curvature. And probably the same could be said for this. I want to probably redirect these back into the mouth. And this one here can kind of come out with the lip. See, and as I keep working it, I'll start to more fully define that, and we'll come back to that. 'Cause it needs work. She's all frowny, but you can see even that kind of added a little more definition. And now I probably need to push it all upwards. I bet it's too low from the nose. Now that I kind of, it's like you're always kind of making adjustments and tweaks, and coming back in and making more adjustments and tweaks. See, if I come in here and take a look at that, I bet it's. Let's do that one. Get rid of this, and let's see what we have here. Yeah, it's pretty close, but I feel that it's not. Sometimes you gotta make some of your own little takes on it. These could probably. So, hair. Let's take a look at the quad draw tool for the moment. So you can see there's like a pinch that's starting to form here. We want to capitalize on that. Sorry, lips are a whole thing. Alright, so let's take a look at the quad draw. Now this is a cool tool. It really helps with a number of things. Yeah, there's a lot of polys. I don't like to have too many polys just yet. I like to add them as I need. Okay, so I'm going for this character's hair here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to take this object and we're going to go up to this here. There's a little, all these are like your magnetic snaps, and they snap to obviously like verts and edges and such. But we're going to do make live. Ah, I see. Hold on. It's bad on me. Head shape. Right. And now, when we go in here, we can make the head shape live. Which means that it's now active as a magnetic piece. And what we can do is we can go up to, is it Mesh Tools? Yes, it is. Here's Quadra. Now I already have Quadra in my custom bar, but this is it right here. And we can open up the menu. We can take a look at a few little things on it. There's an auto weld, yeah. There's a relax, there's an extend, quad strip, clear dots, keyboard shortcuts are a bunch of them here, of which there's a number of them. I'll keep it on because sometimes I forget them. Surface offset is a really cool one where it sets up to be, say, at a 2 here in this case. We don't really want much surface offset. I'm going to set to, like, say, a 0.1, which means that it won't offset much. But like here, you can see if I set it at the 2, it's quite a bit of surface offset. And when I start drawing on the surface itself, oh, come on now. Oh, there they are. There they are floating off in space. Right? That's how far away 2 is because my model is probably too small. So, my model is pretty tiny. So, I'm going to set that as an offset of 0.1. Hopefully. And let's make the surface live. And now, see, that's still pretty high. It's because this model is really small, which is going to be an issue later. I'll have to size and scale it up. Let's do it. Let's do no surface offset then. Right? It'll just snap directly to the surface itself. Oh, and I'm looking at this and realizing I need more forehead here. So let's undo that and adjust that real quick. Let's turn off live surface. Let's take this. There we go. Same with here. I want these to be. I want to make good use of these pieces here later. I feel like these could almost be. Alright, that's a little better, with the forehead being a little more. Okay, that will probably make me a little happier. Okay, so now, again, back to Service Live. We're going back to our settings. I'm just going to have no offset. Offset's good for clothing. It actually works really well for clothing because then it's like, it feels like it's on top of the model. Alright, so the whole point of Quadra is you can start to set points. So let me see the edge loops, and we can see that there is sort of a point here, point here, point here, and we can start doing sort of these points that run like this. And then, once you're ready to start doing some cool things with it, you can start to place sort of these planes in between, right? So that clicks to drop dots. You can tweak dots by holding the middle mouse, where you can move them around. Alright, and then, once you're ready, drag your size constraints, click between dots, create geometry, shift left. Right. There we go. See? So, I'm going to get this in here, this in here, this in here. Are these being nice for me? Not exactly. Let's see if I can redo that shape setup. Yeah, there it is. Here. And so, what you get is you start creating your own set of geometry. Right? Connecting to the surface. And you can actually hold down Shift to relax, just like in the sculpting tools. And then once you're kind of happy with it, actually this probably needs to go, you can actually start using your Alt to create more edge loops along. And you can select Tab to extrude, or select, I think, Shift Tab. Where's the full middle mouse to extrude? See? And you can really build out from here any way you want at this point. This is a really great way to retopologize stuff. They kind of snap on and everything. Right. And you can kind of position these to line up so that they flow better. Is it already time to go get Fauna?
Yes.
Wow. And then if I want to work with it as its own separate piece of geometry, I can do that. I can take this and get out of that mode and actually select them. See? Then I can start to do like extrusions, for example. Uh-oh, we don't need this for the senior. Do we? I guess we do, because it's a quad. Oh yeah, we gotta take off that head snap so that it will work proper. If I can't push this out a little bit more. It feels like I need a little more space with these pieces, but okay. This is probably too high, but you get the idea here, right? You're coming in, and excuse me. Let's go ahead and select this piece again. We'll go back to Quad Draw. You can continue. If I make the surface live again, you can select this and you go back to your Quad Draw, and it will take you right back to where you were. Looks like I probably need an extra edge loop here to ease this, and maybe another one here to kind of get it to sit there proper. You can see now I've got a little sort of like got our little crystal piece there, and this is the beginning of the hair, where I can start to do little edge loopings out of it and such. And I can draw them down and around, even though it's kind of weird. It looks like it's this is a slightly weird drawing. You're kind of like, well, what's going on with the hair? It's just coming through the horns. What's happening? Where's all this hair coming from? So executive decision, I might just make it come down back over here and make this kind of move fully up and in between. Even though it's supposed to kind of look, I guess, like it's our horns are just coming out of the hair. I could now utilize this hair to play with more of the structure of the head to make sure that I kind of get that. And once I kind of have like a platform, I probably shouldn't have started that little crystal so soon, because I need to extrude all of this up in a lot of ways so that I can pull pieces out of it. So you'd want to finish the process here. And you can always continue. So if I want like a little edge loop in here, you can always kind of follow the geometry of the model as well. So the hair comes down everywhere. So it's probably worth it to finish the other horns. But I kind of feel like I know there's going to be hair coming out from here. Down kind of thing. You'll notice as you make more cuts, the more it'll kind of relax into position on the head. And you can always drag them, kind of click them together. It's very versatile. Perfect. So I have like a nice start. It looks like this goes down into a piece, and then I could like extrude that out. So it's probably worth it to take it down. This would be, the next horn starts probably right through here. But with this we can take down over here. Push it in position and kind of get that structure here for this little piece ready. Where I can pull it out of some of this geometry. That's too much, but there we go. Push all up in there. Because this is eventually going to just sort of shoot off. And I think we can actually, yeah, we can do this too, so you can kind of move them around as needed. So you got soft select for these as well. Alright, that will be a nice sort of base structure for it. Come back in here and get the back end of the hair, which is going to be a lot, and it goes into a ponytail, and there's a lot going on, but you're just sort of like setting this geometry. This is kind of a fairly advanced this is kind of a fairly advanced hair design, but this could be like clothing. You could be doing this for clothing or kind of any of it. It's a really neat process for just sort of overlaying. You can topologize a model that maybe you need to do if you bring it back from ZBrush and things got weird. Let's see here, what can we do here? You'll see that it tries to make its own quads, which is pretty cool. See, boom. Boom. Right. Even though technically I probably want to do something different with that. But I'll come back and fix it later. Because what I just did right there was I just, bam, see look, I just made an edge loop. I redirected the geometry. It's a lot easier to redirect the geometry. With this setup. I like it. I like the quad draw. Then I can start extruding things out of that piece. Also, if you need to make an adjustment, let's say I grab this and like, yeah, but it needs to maybe be slightly offset, maybe a slight offset, then a cool thing you can do with your quad draw is you can actually go to, where is it? Surface offset. You could set it to say a 0.01 or something, and now if I hit relax and I smooth, it will pull it up. See? It's actually tugging it up in a way by a little bit off of the geometry. See? And it will attempt to create a little bit of... This is actually really useful for getting this modeling process. This is really useful for now when I go out of this mode, my geometry will be up and kind of sitting there. So let's say I add a piece here and another one here, for example. Oopsie, what's going on there? I don't like what it's doing to my little crystal here. Oh, I see why. I see why it's doing it. It's trying to conform to this surface offset, so we'll just say no surface offset. It is distorting it a little bit, though, so I'll have to go back in and fix that. It's kind of messing with my crystal. Oh man, don't tear apart. Be together. It's doing funky things. I need to not do those funky things. I'd probably have to do that separately then. I'll do it separately. I thought I could be smarmy and do it here without that, but I can't. What are you guys doing here? Go away. How do I figure out how to delete. I think you just backspace delete them. Click edge, click drive, tweak edge loops, click edge, delete edge loops, Control Shift. There it is. Control Shift. Okay, fine. So that's not going to do what I want it to do. I'd have to. I thought I'd be sneaky and make the hair setups by just kind of attaching some edge loops through here. But it's going to be like, no, I don't want to put edge loops in there. And what I was hoping I could do is I could set this offset and be like, say a 0.08 or something, right? And then when I go in here and I smooth specific region, see, it pops it up. And then I can kind of get that hair a little bit. It's a little much. Maybe in the middle. Right, see? And now I'm kind of building it without... I'm kind of manipulating like the system a little. Here, 0.01. Right. 0.04. See? And kind of achieve a little bit of the hair effect. But I need more, I feel like I need more edge loops in there, so. Anyway, so now when we're done, when you take it away, you can actually go back and you'll still see, let's turn off the shader. You can see that there's two distinctive pieces of geometry now. This one probably needs a little bit of lift. And yeah, so that's kind of your let's give it a 0.01. Alright, I'm gonna have to go in there and fix it up some. There we go. And then I could go in and mess with it without all of the geometry connections. But it's definitely a process. Oh, these are back. Get out of here. No one wants you. Alright, let's save. And undo the live. Go back to object mode. Now you can see I've got hair, poly, and let's call this one head, poly. I'm not sure what this one is. P-sphere. Oh, that's the eye. Eye poly. Right. We start getting a little more kind of like, okay, there's some shape, but I'd want to finish this base before I start doing funky stuff like all sorts of extrusion process. Even though I think it'd be okay to have, so let's see, it doesn't mess it up as much this way. up a little bit. So, there you go. Maybe this crystal could be a little sharper. That's probably fine though. Okay, so now we got that kind of going on. We got these little pieces of the hair. And with these extra edge loops in the hair, we can actually take them. We could kind of utilize them, kind of pull them out a little bit. Now I'm just doing some sculpting work on it. Kind of get it to fit back where I want it. And you always kind of go back in and kind of adjust it as needed. I think this crystal needs to be thinner. But I might have to do individual pushes on that. Because I don't want to pull bottom pieces away. Anyway, so this is useful for just about anything to do with overlaying. So if you need clothing on something, hair, etc. Right? Quad draw tool. Give it a shot. It's fun. So you can tell, modeling is definitely intense. This is why people don't talk much during their modeling videos. You'll see a lot of people just fast forward through them. Because it takes a lot of focus, actually. There we go. Some other trick that might be nice here is if I take the edges, and I'd have to come back and do this again anyway, but if I take these edges, I push them down. Tighter in, and then give that a hardened edge, you'll get the opposite effect, where you get this. Right. There you go. Alright. I'm going to get back to working on the face and the eyelids and stuff and try and really beat this into submission because it's very all over the place. And maybe get those other horns out and the ear fins. See a little more where things are sitting. But yeah, that's sort of that's a process there. Whew, it's a process. And I'll pop that video up in a little bit here.